Hi my lovelies, welcome back to my channel, and for everybody who is new, I'm Leorah and I'm so glad you found me. So welcome to today's video. I'm back. I'm doing makeup on camera, sweeties. You guys have been waiting for it. I know it has been a long time coming, but I will talk about that of course more in the makeup application part of the video. So besides that, I'm going to introduce two new palettes to you today, and that is, for example, this one. This is the Blends palette from XNO Cosmetics. I received this as a gift from one of my besties. This has been the palette that I've been waiting for the longest. This has been a long time coming. It has been held up in America by the post office and whatever, then in Israel till it finally got here. It had been delivered to the wrong address and so much drama, but I'm going to use it today for the first time, and of course you're going to see the performance and of course also my first impression at the end of the video. Okay, so this is from XNO Cosmetics. It's a first for me. I've never tried that brand before. And then also another first for me is it's Belle Cosmetics, and this is Break the Rules. This is an all duochrome multi-chrome palette. This is how she looks. Also a super pretty palette. I've been eyeing this for the longest time. I ordered this, I want to say, on the 4th restock. You know, so anyway, this has been an extremely popular palette and I just kind of really had to have it, you know. So perfect that I have this all duochrome palette, because I would not do a look just with that, but I have now this, you know. So this is like the perfect pair. Okay, sweeties, I'm of course going to talk more about all of that at the end of the video. I'm also going to work for the first time on camera with the eyeshadow primer from Juvia's Place, and I also have thoughts about this which you also will hear at the end of the video. Besides that, of course, if you just found me for the first time, hi, I'm Leorah. I'm a makeup artist and stylist, and I'm living for colorful makeup and kind of also colorful styling. So please feel free to check out, of course, my social media, where you can just get to know me a little bit better and see what I'm doing, because I'm posting all my looks when it comes to fashion and also, of course, my makeup looks. I'm posting it all there. Besides that, of course, check out my channel and subscribe, because that would be awesome. Okay, so for today's video, I'm of course going to use those products. Besides that, I'm just going to use it as like a chatty get ready with me in order to like update you a little bit on what has been going on and through my mind and all of these things. So with all of that being said, let's just jump right into the video, and I hope you enjoy to hang out with me. Okay, my sweeties, let us go in. Let's do it. I have not been filming anything where I'm applying makeup in the longest time, so it's time, sweeties. Okay, I want to try a few new things. You probably know that already from the intro. I want to actually try also this Juvia's Place eyeshadow primer. I've tried it a couple of times already off camera, but I kind of want to feature it and tell you what I think if I don't forget. But anyway, this is that, and then I also want to mix two palettes, which you probably also know from the intro, and this is the Blends palette from the XNO Cosmetics, and that is how she looks. Let me just open this. It's a very pretty palette, and in so many ways it is so me, because they go so deep, you know, on those on both sides basically, you know, and like the lighter shades are in the middle. So this is beautiful, and first time I'm using this, and first time I'm using this brand. And I also garbage weight. Now I also want to show you this one. This is from Belle Cosmetics. It's very early, sweeties, okay? It's Belle Cosmetics, and this is the Break the Rules palette. Now this is also so beautiful. I showed both of the palettes to my kids and actually asked for some recommendations what they think I should use and combine, and they all 7 of them came up with like 14 different options. So I'm just gonna go ahead and do whatever I feel, because that is basically what I'm doing these days, you know, what makes me happy. And that also has to do with stepping away from YouTube, you know, not leaving, but you know that I have been uploading much less to save my life. Sorry, I'm just trying to figure out how to put some eyeshadow primer on my brush, because seriously, there's just, before the eyeshadow primer comes out, there's like half a liter of water coming out, you know. So that is something that I've noticed that I'm not too crazy about. So you also know probably, because I've mentioned it so many times already, that usually I am working with the eyeshadow primer from Sigma, which is kind of really hard to beat, honestly. you know. So anyway, let us put on this one, and of course you can see that this is super light for me, but they have 3 different shades, and the second one, the medium shade, is of course way too dark for me. So I'm kind of, you know, putting it on my lid and then sort of smudging it out in order for it to not be too light, too close to my brows. And let's see what happens. All right, I want to talk with you about a few things, kind of like a life update situation, because I haven't done that in a long time, and I also have hinted in a lot of videos basically about, you know, stuff that is happening in my life, but it was never the kind of video where I could really talk about it. So I'm just, you know, I just want to go through a few things that have been happening in the last weeks, and there is honestly a lot more to talk about. It's just that probably this would be too long for just one video, but you know, I can always film another one, because certainly I do have enough stuff to feature that I can make like 100 videos like this. All right, sweeties, I'm just sort of trying to set the upper part here a tiny little bit with my Bone Color Matte, and also in order, of course, to make the color more like my skin tone. Right, so that is what I'm doing here, and then I'm going to immediately go in with the Blends palette. And I'm so excited because I got this as a gift from one of my besties, and that is, you know, that's really cool. Okay, I think I want to go with purple, because that was the first thing I thought, go in with purple, before I got all the recommendations from my kids. So I think I'm gonna go in with, I'm just thinking what is the best strategy right now, but maybe I'm gonna go in with the medium purple. This is the shade Signs. This is the shade Signs, and let's just see what happens, and put that like right here. I'm thinking of having this, ooh, this looks good. I'm thinking of having this look be like dark. Of course, you know already how it looks because you saw the intro, and that's also something that I'm going to try to do again, because I had gone completely away from filming intros, and I actually got the recommendation from also one of my besties who knows a little bit more about, you know, social media and all kinds of stuff like that, which I still, after all those years on YouTube and all these things that I'm doing, I have like zero knowledge still, you know, because also I feel it is not who I am. I am so much more than that, and I'm also not here to sell myself, and not that my bestie thinks that I should. She's just giving her recommendations because she loves me, and you know, she wants me to succeed, she wants me to be seen, and that makes a lot of sense. But I'm just saying that the reason for me not knowing and also not caring too much about how to grow and how to sell myself, no, that's not true. I am interested in growing my channel and my social media, because only then I can feature and have the platform, of course, to feature the brands that I want you guys to see and other people to see, and you know, to be found by other people and whatever. So it makes a whole lot of sense. It's just that this whole platform is so made out for selling yourself, and basically you can only make it if you do that, you know. So and that is just not what I cannot do it. I cannot do it. And it was one of my big struggles now during the summer, you know, because it's always, do you want to be successful, or do you want to do this and that and that and that and that, or do you want to, like, it is, for me, it does not go together. It's not parallel. I cannot get it into the same frame, you know. For me, it's either I can stay myself, or I'll be successful, you know. And I kind of really feel maybe that also has to do with my age, that I cannot bend over backwards, and like, I cannot, no, and I don't want to, you know. And it has actually made me incredibly happy to come to that realization, and that is basically one of those things that I've been kind of dealing with within me also during the summer, which is always around my birthday, which was on August 16th. And I'm always struggling with my birthday. If you're not new here, you know that I'm not a big fan of birthdays, at least not of my own, because it kind of always like it's in your face that again you've gotten a year older, and it feels like, have I accomplished anything? You know? So I'm gonna go in with the next shade, and that is Giggle. That's the lighter purple shade, which is also really, really cute. I'm just going to try to blend out the other shade. Pigmentation is really, really nice, I have to say. Now let's see how they blend. The blends palette, so I have high expectations. Yeah, so anyway, you know, around my birthday I kind of always reevaluate a lot of stuff, and that is basically also what I'm doing with my private life, and of course also what my work is concerned, you know. And of course I also stepped back a little bit from YouTube because I have 7 children at home during the summer vacation, and that of course in itself is this is like, it's like a hamster wheel you can never get out of, you know. So that was of course the biggest reason for me to just take a bit of a breather, because I just don't want to be that kind of a mom who always has to say, no, we can't because I have to edit, you know. That is just not the mother I can be, and this is not what I want my kids to remember when they grow up, that mom was always trying to I don't know what I'm trying to say, honestly. And this doesn't show up so much, I have to say. Let's just push it on a little bit more. But yeah, so basically that mom never has time because she's on social media and whatever, you know. That's just not healthy, not for them, not for me, even though you know that my kids are super supportive of what I'm doing. But I just needed to be there for them and to be able to just go with them on the playground and like do stuff, you know. Have we done anything big during the summer? Not really. But it also, you know, that's also one of the life lessons I think we have been kind of also learning as a family, that the main things are not the big ones, you know. The main things are who sets the table for breakfast and who folds the laundry. These are the things that life is made of, you know. These are the things that who helps I don't know, changing the litter box, I don't know. I kind of feel like we as a family have grown much more together during this summer. And I also have to say that I really, really appreciate that my children are starting to be a little bit older, and also the older ones are a little bit more responsible compared to the summer of 2020, sorry. That I just feel like it is not so super hard anymore the way it used to be when all the kids were just much smaller. Yeah, so anyway, that is a little bit of the general picture. And I also have to say one more thing about my birthday, because it's so sweet how you guys know me. Some of you who actually contacted me on social media on my birthday, on the morning of my birthday, and kind of said, we know you don't want people to make a big fuss about your birthday, and we also don't want to, but I just wanted to tell you that I'm so glad that you're here and that you are such a blessing in my life. And you know, and that has actually really touched my heart, because it made me feel that you guys get me, maybe more than my own family, you know, sometimes in certain things. And that is so nice, you know, to know that, wow, you actually listen to me. You know that I don't want an onslaught of 500 messages on my birthday. I want to just be kind of left alone so I can think about my life. And yeah, and you guys were really amazing. So thank you so much. And yeah, and also my besties have really spoiled me on that day. I'm really grateful. Seriously grateful. Anyway, okay, so there are a few other things that I want to talk about, and if I don't start to do that soon, the video is going to be finished and I have not spoken about anything. So yeah, let me just quickly try to blend this out with my bone color mat a little bit and see how we can go from here. this brand should really be one like on top of my list, because you know how I am a blending addict, and it kind of feels like blend bunny. I'm the born blend bunny, you know what I mean? So yeah. All right, so let's talk about a few things that have been a little bit challenging also during the summer vacation. Of course, besides being at home, so many people, you know, and trying to not like get on each other's nerves too much. And of course also, you know, the older kids, my older kids, the oldest one is 14, the youngest one just turned 5. It is sometimes a bit hard to get them all into one boat, but yeah, so anyway, that was a challenge. But of course, like in my personal life, I lost one of my very, very good friends this summer, and that is one of the issues that I have been speaking about already in a couple of videos, kind of hinting at it. And yeah, so that is basically something that happened this summer that was really, really hard for me to cope with. And I'm not going to go into it because I don't want to trigger people on stuff, you know. It's really a thing that I just have to deal with, because that is also part of life. But of course it was a loss, and she was one of the biggest supporters of my channel also, besides being my friend. And she was an incredible person, you know, incredible, and may her memory be blessed. And I'll miss her. Definitely I'll miss her. Also, one of my pets actually passed away sadly out of like nowhere, and that was also very, very upsetting for me and for my children. And that, yeah, that was just also very sad. But anyway, it's all part of life. And we also try to openly handle it within the family, to let everybody be part of that process also, of the mourning process. And not like hide it or whatever, or to quickly buy a new pet so the kids will be distracted and not have to deal with the loss. Because I personally feel it is very important to know that this exists, that this feeling is real, and that one is also allowed to feel it, you know. And then at some point you get through it and you'll come out on the other side. So okay, next brush. The next shade, that is Bewitched, which is the darkest purple here in the palette. This is a super, super nice shade. Let's see how it builds on the other two. I'm going to push this right here in the corner, and I have to say, I'm impressed. You know, this is a very, very nice formula. I'm really impressed. So it's good to impress me, sweeties. Okay, so anyway, that is that. Then of course we also had wildfires here, and I know we're not the only ones who do have to deal with that during the summer. And we don't have it every summer, but this summer it was really, really extreme, and it kind of also came quite close to where we live. We didn't have to get evacuated or anything, but I remember the first one that was really, really scary, because I had no idea. You know, I had no idea what was happening, because I was not during the day watching the news or anything. I was with my kids, you know, and at that point it was late afternoon, and my son, my oldest son, and I were actually on the balcony, and he was holding Giovanni, which is our big lion head rabbit, and we were grooming him, you know, doing like taking care of his fur and of his claws and whatever. And we were talking while we were doing that, and then we suddenly looked up, and there was this huge cloud of like gray, red, orange clouds rolling towards us. We were like, oh, what is happening? Honestly, that was so scary. Do you know the movie Independence Day, when suddenly this huge spaceship like moves over whichever city that is? And this is how the cloud looked, just different colors, and it was a cloud, it was not a spaceship, as far as I know. So that was scary. And of course I was like, Akiva, go inside, turn on the news and turn it on loud so I can hear it outside, because I was still holding Giovanni. So anyway, that was of course really scary, and there were a couple of them, and they got really big, and there was so much damage to nature and all of that, and it's really, really heartbreaking. But anyway, so that was one of the things also that has happened, of course. And then we have a school start approaching, which is a bit of an iffy situation because it feels like due to the pandemic and also, I don't know, nobody really knows what is going to happen and what they're doing, and we're kind of in limbo a little bit right now as of when I'm filming this. I think you're seeing this 2 days before our school starts, so I'm kind of still in the same situation when you're seeing this because I'm not pre-filming this a long time. Okay, you know what? I'm going to go in with the other palette, with the Break the Rules palette, and just see how that goes. Shall we? Okay, so let me just switch palettes for a second. And I kind of really feel like putting on, at least for on the lid, under the eye, I don't know yet. I want to go in with these here, maybe. You know, so let's just put that orangey shade. Let's see how they pick up on the brush, because that is always a good indication for me. This picks up pretty well, because if they're bouncy and stuff like that, it's kind of, yeah, maybe, you know, but this is not bouncy, so that is good. So let's just put that right here. I have a feeling this video is going to be super long. I hope you have the time to listen to me ramble. Okay, so this looks beautiful. This is the shade Stay Radical. Okay, so anyway, I have two little kids who are starting first grade, Michaela and Golan, and that is of course also a reason why I have to keep my YouTube content a little bit more downsized, because I'm going to have to be there for them. You know, I'm going to have to be there for them. Do I want or not? I would love to do YouTube full time, but it kind of turns out that I'm a mother first, you know. So let's do Bold. This is so me. Bold. Okay, that's that shade, and let's try to put that one on. This is a little bit more bouncy, but it still picks up super nicely on the brush. So let's put that right here, and then of course I'm also going to apply them with my finger, because that is just what I do. Okay, they look very, I don't know, like magical, you know, really magical. So cool. Alright, so in connection to, of course, first grade starting, if you go and look at the calendar or look up the Jewish high holidays, then you will know that the Jewish high holidays are right around the corner, which is in itself a reason for me to just go and hide in a hut in the middle of the forest somewhere, because for me, oh sweeties, for me it's just work. For me it is not, I never get a holiday feeling or anything. Those days have passed. Ever since I started to have a big family, it's basically, Mom, what's to eat? What's for dinner? What's for lunch? What are we doing? What are we wearing? Is the laundry done? You know, so for me it's not fun, absolutely not. And also only now I'm starting to be able to go back to services, actually, because that is actually something that is really nice, because now the children are kind of grown up a little bit, so they also can take care of the little ones, so I can actually have a tiny little bit of my life back. But during the last years it was just not possible, you know. I was so still in the baby bubble without having still actual babies at home, but it's kind of the aftermath of the baby bubble, and sometimes I wonder what is worse, you know, to actually have like a baby, or to like deal with having them grow up and like with all of those issues. But I have to say that it is really what I also said before, it is getting better, it's getting easier. And of course also the older ones are helping already way more than they used to, so it is getting easier. Maybe I will actually be able to enjoy the high holidays for once, you know. This is, oh, this is so beautiful. Wow. How. Yeah. So anyway, there are still a few other things that I want to talk about. I might have to come back once I'm doing the under eye area and talk to you about the rest, or I'll have to make a different video because this is already getting so long. But yeah, anyway, so let me just do the other eye off camera, and while I'm doing that I'll decide how I want to continue this video. Alright, so I'll see you in just a second. Okay, my lovelies, here we are, of course, with the finished look, which you saw already in the intro, obviously. Okay, so there is not like a huge surprise there, but I hope you did like this whole concept. I kind of really like to do the intro thing because I personally always felt a little bit weird going on camera, starting the video, while it has also its benefits, but I kind of always felt weird to go on camera without anything on, because if people find me like that for the first time, they have no idea what I'm capable of, and they look at me like this and they think like, why do you say you're a makeup artist? You look like you just fell out of bed, which is basically true, because when I film, I basically really just fell out of bed. But anyway, so yeah, you can definitely let me know your feedback about that, you know? Okay, and then of course I'm going to zoom you in and show you how the look turned out, and I am really happy about the outcome. And yeah, I'm going to of course talk to you also what I did to finish the look when I was off camera. I should also say that I actually used the Break the Rules palette to create this lip. You know, I used my Duraline from Inglot, and I just scraped out some of the pigment and just made a lippy out of it, you know? This is something you can do, definitely something you can do, and I think it is spectacular. I used this shade. It's just a little bit crumbly now because I just scraped out the pigment. This is the shade Rebel, you know, and this makes for beautiful lips, like seriously, you know, so cool. Anyway, to finish the look under my eye, I used basically this one in the inner corner and dragged it around a little bit, and then I dragged it into this, or blended it into this, and then into this. Like that, you know, that's basically all I did to finish the look, and that is what it is. Okay, so maybe before I go into talking about the palettes, I just quickly want to say something about this eyeshadow primer. And I have black on my hands. Seriously. Okay, so anyway, about this eyeshadow primer, I think it performs well. I think blending on it is easier than on the Sigma eyeshadow primer. I do believe though that overall I'm leaning more towards this creamy formula like the Sigma eyeshadow primer or even MAC Paint Pot, but because I have an issue with this one. And that is that basically every single time I'm using it for the first time on whatever given day, I have to squeeze out like so many drops of just pure liquid before the primer comes out. And I'm just wondering about that. I don't know, is there some separation going on? How does that change the formula? How does that change the performance? Why does it separate? You know, I just have my questions about that. But of how much I've used it so far, I have to say that the performance was good. The colors, as I said, blend very well on it. They pick up nicely, whatever, you know. All of that is fine. I do still believe though that my preference is the Sigma eyeshadow primer because I just lean more towards this creamy kind of formula, you know, and this is really liquid. So, but I'm still going to use it. I'm still going to work more with this and play more with this and maybe just get more experience. The only real issue is that all this liquid comes out first, and there I have my questions. Besides that, the performance is good, and as you can see, it's like there's nothing wrong with it. Okay, I think maybe if I get around to like really liking it, I will maybe order myself also the medium shade, because maybe I can mix them and get a little bit more towards my actual color, because this is really light, and yeah, so maybe. It's a big maybe, we shall see. But anyway, just wanted to quickly use that to also, I don't know, it's not really a review. I've done maybe 10 looks using this primer so far. So anyway, but each time in the morning when I'm putting that primer on, I have liquid coming out first. And that's just like where I think like, what is this all about, you know? So anyway, let me know though if you're using this, if you do have the same experience, because maybe you don't have it. Maybe it's something that I'm doing wrong. Okay, sweeties, let's talk about the palettes. Let's maybe start with the Blend Bunny palette, this one. So as I told you, I got this from one of my besties. I'm super excited that she gifted me this, because you know what? I always say that all matte palettes and also all shimmer palettes are not really my preference. I like it if I have everything in one palette, you know, a nice range of both in one palette. Though now that I've actually started to purchase a couple of those palettes, which I personally, for my own makeup application, for my techniques and for my tastes, would not use just on its own. I just would not. I feel a good mix of mattes and shimmers within one look just makes it more interesting, so that is perfect that I have those. And I actually also have the Don't Be Jelly palette from Alien Cosmetics now, which is also a 9-pan palette and also all duochrome, multichrome, so it's perfect to have a palette like this. Okay, now what I think is spectacular about this palette is that it goes super deep in a lot of ways. A lot of these all matte palettes basically have a few like medium / deeper mattes, but then a black. Okay, but this here goes so deep, especially here on this side with this super dark purple, this super dark blue, and that is, I appreciate that so much because you know how much I love to just add this depth and the drama into my looks. Okay, of the 3 shades that I used today, which is actually, that's not true, I used 5, but not enough in order to get an opinion, okay? Because here closer to my lash line on the Leorah lash line, I also added this one in the middle, and then I think this one to the outer part, but that is really so little that I cannot judge the shades by that. But what I can judge of these 3 shades that I've used, especially those 2 really rocked. This one did not convince me in this look, but it could be that this is this kind of shade that should maybe be put on first, because maybe you remember that I went in with a medium color and then blended it out. Maybe this would work better if I would use it as a transition shade. It's very possible. It's not like it didn't work, it was just not my preference how it worked in the technique that I used today. But again, just the first impression, and I'm sure it's going to work out fine if I use it the other way around. I also have to say, because guys, if you see this and you're like, Leorah, what's your problem? It's because I have really high standards on to myself. How does one say that even? I have very high standards on myself to blend, because that is, for me, this is yoga. And I'm living for it, and I would never go out with an unblended look. I just cannot, I love it when there is like this smooth flow, and I just have to have that, But I do also, of course, have to admit that I have very high standards, and you, of course, do not have to have them. Okay, sweeties, so this was a very good performance. From what I can tell, it picked up super nicely. There was absolutely no issue with like the pigmentation or the blendability in that sense, what I could see of those 3 shades today, and it's beautiful. It was really beautiful. And again, how they created this color scheme with certain color families going like super deep. This is so good, so good, and it's perfect for me. And the pigmentation was really nice, seriously. Okay, now also this one is a beautiful palette. I cannot even. My first experience with an all duochrome / multichrome palette, and I am in love. I am absolutely in love. This stood up to all the expectations I had, and I'm super glad that I invested in this, Also, of course, for using it on my lips, because I think it looks spectacular, sweeties. Don't sleep on your options, definitely. And also of what I've tried so far, and of course I'm gonna do more looks with this, I'm really in love with the whole concept, really in love. So I'm definitely now off camera in the next couple of days, I'm going to work with those combined, and of course I'm going to combine this palette with the Don't Be Jelly palette from Alien Cosmetics in the sooner future, because there has been a lot of stuff happening makeup wise in my life, and I'm kind of need to juggle my time a little bit also, Okay, so quickly to finish up the video, what I want to say and what my resume is, basically looking back at those last weeks, I want to say that I feel, and I've kind of also touched up on that already in the video where I said it is really in the smaller things. Life happens in the smaller things, and I've been really noticing that, because it has been that basically within those smaller things, our family, and also by spending more time together forcefully, basically because everybody was home, that our family has drawn closer together, that that we have started to look more into each other, to understand each other a little bit more, you know, to maybe also sometimes, also because I've been working less, to just drop work and just sit with the kids and talk, or I don't know, something, you know. And this is something that I've been missing so much, and I kind of feel like, wow, I've robbed myself, you know, and I cannot do that because I have responsibility for my family first. And as much as I love being here, you know, this is my life and my joy and my hobby and my work, and it's everything. But besides that, first of all, God has made me a mom, you know, of 7 blessings. And sometimes you have to decide that you see it as a blessing. Sometimes it's just plain like a labor, you know, it's never ending labor. But still, this is where my place is, you know. So anyway, that is that. That is looking back, I have a whole lot of gratitude. Gratitude that the summer vacation is coming to an end. Gratitude that a new phase now is starting. A little bit insecurity and fear of what's coming, because you know, you never know what's happening really. But also the gratitude that I know that I'm arriving, you know, I am in the process of fine-tuning myself, and that is a very, very healing phase in my life. It is kind of also painful, because when you're fine-tuning yourself and you kind of, you know, need to chip away on those rough edges and like, yeah, really like, you know, you're going through this process that can be painful. But I think the end result is going to be good, you know, and I'm so, so grateful that you're here with me on that journey to just share all of this together and see, wow, where is Leorah going, and where are we all going, and where am I taking this channel and my social media, and what's going to happen with my family? How is she going to manage to raise 7 children? Seriously. But anyway, you will find out. Okay, so anyway, that was that. I hope you did enjoy, and I'm so, so glad that I was here today and that I filmed for you and that you're going to see this, and I hope you will have enjoyed this video. Of course, leave me a comment down in the comment section. Feel free to, of course, also check out my description box with all my discount codes that I have with different brands, and with my social media, and of course with everything that I've used in today's look. And don't forget to subscribe if you're new here. Please don't leave the video without subscribing. And besides that, I'm going to see you here super soon for my next video, and up until then, definitely go ahead and sparkle. Hugs and kisses. Bye.